Let's get into it. So we'll start with the AFC East, and that is the first division that we will pull up. And we'll just start right at the top, Munaf, with the Buffalo Bills, who, they always are a contender for the AFC East, and they're always a contender for the AFC. This year should be no different. However, you have a question, my friend, about their running back position and who we should trust out of that backfield.
Well, obviously the obvious answer is James Cook, right? And the reason that what I mentioned earlier is that there was speculation that he was going to hold out for a new contract, and we see that every single year with these players that have big seasons. And last year, James Cook had an absolutely phenomenal year for the Buffalo Bills, running the football close to 5 yards per carry, 4.9 yards to be exact. He had 18 total touchdowns. Wasn't a huge significant receiving running back for the Buffalo Bills, but there were other running backs in this backfield. If you want to talk about, Ty Johnson, I believe Ray Davis is in that conversation there as well for this Buffalo Bills team. And look, the thing with James Cook is that he's not going to hold out. He's going to show up to camp, but there's always the question in the back of your mind is he going to go out there and play to the best of his ability? And sometimes motivation is a question for some of these guys. And you can look at it from two spectrums, right? Like Jamar Chase was an example last year, and he was in a contract year or one of that contract extension with the Cincinnati Bengals. And what did he do? He went out there and proved his worth. He had an absolute phenomenal season for the Cincinnati Bengals there, and they paid him what he's worth, right? And I think Joe Burrow was very vocal about it, and he said, "Hey, I want to keep this core intact with myself, Jamar, and T. Higgins," and they got that job done. But last season, Jamar Chase over 1,700 receiving yards, he had 17 receiving touchdowns, 175 targets. So I think when we talk about James Cook, I'm looking at maybe either Ty Johnson here, Rod, will get your take on this as well, or Ray Davis, maybe getting a little bit more reps here in the Buffalo Bills offense. Of course, we know it starts and stops with Josh Allen. I think that they don't want him to run as much as he has been throughout his career, because again, we've seen quarterbacks that take off and they can get those elbow injuries or shoulder injuries, if they fall the wrong way. So I think there may be a little bit even a more reliability on the Buffalo Bills running game. And if it is a blowout, guys like Ray Davis and Ty Johnson, especially Ty Johnson last season, out of the backfield catching the football was very, very good for this Buffalo Bills team. I believe he had close to 284 receiving yards in those contests. And look, if the Buffalo Bills pick up right where they left off last season and blowing out opponents during the regular season, you're not going to see a James Cook out there, for maybe that latter part of the fourth quarter where they're trying to run the football and get out of it. Where guys like Ty Johnson and Ray Davis, they really want to prove their worth, be that second or third guy in this offense. And who knows, for the future of their career, maybe get a starting spot somewhere else. So those are the type of things that I kind of look at here. Of course, if you're in a deeper league that maybe has, a couple flex positions and need to stash some guys, that was my biggest thing from this Buffalo Bills team, at least in the running back room. As soon as I saw James Cook, that could possibly hold out, but he doesn't look like he is going to here, Rod.
Yeah, when it gets down to crunch time, the money starts talking, right? If you realize, oh, I may not even get to play a down in the first couple of weeks, and then there are a lot of people that will hold firm, but there's a lot of people that are like, look, I just want to play football, so we'll see what we can get done, and we'll get on the field. And I think James Cook is in that situation where, I think he just wants to play football, so we don't have to worry too much about that. But I guess, Munaf, the question would be then, if you were to pick up one of these backups, Ray Davis or Ty Johnson. I mean, you just talked about it. Ray Davis, he had 296 snaps. He had 120 attempts, 478 rushing yards, 189 passing yards, or receiving yards, rather. Ty Johnson had, 61 carries for 307 yards and 318 yards on 22 receptions last season. Which one are you picking up, Davis or Ty Johnson?
I think it's still Davis for me, because again, he has that ability, or he's showing the ability. Throughout his young career here. I think it's very, very tough. I think it is Ray Davis for me. Again, like you mentioned, he had 442 rushing yards last season, total of 778 total yards. He also had 6 touchdowns in there as well, 3 rushing and 3 receiving, if I'm not mistaken. He's still 25 years old, I believe, going into his second season here, Rod. So yeah, I think Ray Davis would be my preference over Ty Johnson. Again, that could change week to week, but nobody's gonna be paying attention to that from a week to week basis unless you're listening to this podcast.
Exactly. I'm with you on Ray Davis too. I think he shows a little more promise. We saw Ty Johnson in the Jets franchise as well, do things, and I don't know. To me, like you said, I think it's Ray Davis, but